Here we have the 1970 Ford Bronco. So I'm standing about maybe a good, I'd say, 8 feet away. So the vehicle presents well from this distance here. It's when you approach it a little bit is when you start seeing the cosmetic imperfections. You can see the gap difference here in the fascia on the right fender to the hood to the fender. I'm gonna zoom in on that a little bit here, but I am checking for rust. I don't really see any. I'll start getting some paint meter readings here in a second. Here we got some cracking here in the finish as well. So a lot of paint prep issues is what I'm seeing. So it's like a maybe like a quick paint job is what they did. Just looking at the rest of the grill here. I checked all the veins here. None of them look like they're cracked or broken. That's good. Lenses are all nice and tight. Headlamp in there nice and secure. And I checked for cracking here around the seam as well. Let's start hitting those readings here. Here on the hood, got 3.5, 3.5, 3.5, 5. It's when we get those readings of 19.7 and above is an indication of body filler or an excess use of it. Once we get those kind of readings, I can't tell you how much Bondo's being used, but it's a lot. And the only way we can really figure that out is if we were to strip it down, which wouldn't make any sense unless you want to redo everything. Just some more lifting on the paint there. You can see where clear coat runs here, orange peel, right? Orange peel finish. So just like a quick type of paint work here. Looking at the left front fender. Let's see here. Let's get another view of this here. Okay, some more cracking here. Just prep issues here, and then you can see where the paint is lifting there. Let's get some more readings. We got slightly higher readings now, 17.5, 19, 16. So they're high readings, but we're still getting readings at least. So 15.5. Looking at the wheels, they look pretty nice. Tires look fairly new. Got a shot of the wheel well area. Okay, I always like to look for rust in here. You can see where they had to do some modifications there. Looks like for the steering. Okay, looks pretty straightforward. Pulling out again. Looking at the windshield. Here we can see the crack on the other side, but you can see it better on the passenger side. Looking at the door gaps, they're okay here. Check these readings: 19, 12, 12, 19. Try that reading again. Okay, so it's been worked here, but not to the extent where I'm not getting a reading. So there's high readings, but we don't know the extent of it. We can see where the door gaps now are off a little bit here. Let's see how the door opens and closes. I checked to see if it drops a little bit. Just a slight drop, but nothing obvious. Still closes decent, right? Looking at the inner door panel here, I always like to look for rust here. Looks good. Inner door panel looks good as well. Let's take a quick look underneath. We see some rust here, and I don't see any rotting there. Okay, so gaps, big difference right there versus what we see from the left fender to the door. Right. Let's get the readings on the quarter panel: 19.7, 16. So immediately we know that the quarter panel has been worked already. So it might be a fit issue there. If you need to correct that cosmetically, you might have to redo it again. 16.5, 19. So it's been worked here as well. The paint looks like it's deteriorated there. Deteriorated. Looks like from the fuel, possibly lifted that all that. There's a little bit of bubbling here. Get some readings here. Okay. So we know that. Yeah. So we've got some high readings here. Come on. Yes, I'm not even getting any readings here, so we know that this area has been worked. So quarter panel, maybe that's why it's the gaps are not aligned properly. See a nice little paint chip here. Wheels again look pretty good. Inner wheel well. Let's see here. Haven't seen any issues there. I typically will take pictures of it. Okay, going back here. Let's get some more readings. Okay, 19.5. 15, so a little bit more down there. And here in the rear, I've already opened up the tailgate. Nothing caught my attention. Here in the jambs, I didn't see any rust. 17.5, 15, 14. All right. Again, it's just a lot of paint prep issues. Some more cracking here, and then some deep scratches there. The spare tire mount was nice and secure. It didn't wobble at all, so it seemed pretty good. Let's get some readings back here. 19. Let's do that again. Okay, some work, but so we know it's been worked here as well. 19.7. We see some more cracking here, and I see some. What do I see there? Just some waviness, and then you can see where it's been. Just the workmanship is not as nice as it should be. Just lacks some attention to detail there. 17, 18. Let's get that reading. Okay. All right, so I'm getting that high reading again. So we know the quarter panel's been worked as well. Right rear wheel looked good. Also looked here in the inner wheel well area. Didn't see any signs of any obvious rust or metal rot. Okay. The door gap's still a little off on this side here. Seems more like on the top side. So 19.7, I might explain that. 19.7 and 19.7. So we know that the right quarter panel's been worked pretty good. You can see some cracking there. Okay. All right. I didn't even point out the fisheye. It's got a little bit of fisheye. But I know you weren't that all concerned about the cosmetics. So we know this door has been worked as well.
That's exactly what.
So 19.7, and then you already know about the wing windows that are missing, right? Okay. Gaps, you can see where the door is just tilted there, and let's just try opening. Okay, a slight drop, no big deal there. Looking at the inner door jambs, looks pretty good, and don't see any metal rot there. That's pretty good.
We always say.
Okay. Wheel well, good. Okay, looks good right there. I saw a little welding here, so I'll be sure to look on the top side to see if I can see any more. But it looks like it may have been hit or re-welded for whatever reason. I got to determine if that's metal rot right there. All right, don't see any issues with the frame, and I'm gonna go ahead and move forward. I've had the engine running for about 5 minutes now, so just looking at the engine bay area. Here we can see where some plate had been welded on there. I saw a little bit of metal rot here underneath from the battery, so chances are that's probably from the battery acid. But I got plenty of pictures of those. You can see some metal deterioration here on the upper wheel well area, and I saw some here on this side as well, but I don't see it now. Again, you can see some more post-factory welding there. I already checked the power steering. That looks pretty good. I removed the valve cover cap. Didn't see any smoke coming out of there. I've already checked the brake fluid. You see some wetness here because that's for me removing it. It's sturdy. I mean, it could definitely use a service if you decide to move forward with it. I checked the pulleys as well. They look pretty straight. Don't hear any excessive noises coming from the bearings. And again, looking pretty good. I've already checked the coolant. Hold on 1 second here. Okay, I might be able to open it. Let's see here. Okay, I can still open it. And what I checked for here is for cross-contamination, and I don't see any bubbling. So that's pretty straightforward. It's starting to warm up now, so I know it's starting to circulate. Okay, I still need to check the oil. Didn't get the reading there, and then I got the badge over here on the firewall. You can get to there 1 second there. Okay. If I rev up the engine a little bit, I don't hear any excessive noises coming from the top end nor from the bottom. Let's see here. It's pretty straightforward. Engine seems responsive. Let's take a look at the oil gauges, see where we're at there. Okay. And alternator maybe not working. Fuel gauge, we'll have to see if that works. Temperature gauge is at 115. And the oil is at 40. So I have to go back there and check that. The other concern I had was with the tailpipes here. We got nothing really well, I'll start just slightly here on the left bank, but on the right side here, I can see blue exhaust now coming out. So I didn't see that at first, but now as it starts to warm up, I can see it now, and it's pretty consistent now. All right. I'm going to go ahead and move forward.